Hello and welcome back everybody to the Foodbuild factory, where today we're going to take a look at the Scavenger. That's the guy you can see on screen right now, and as always I'm going to show you some gameplay in the first part of the video, and in the latter part of the video I'm going to take a look at the perks, the mutations, the equipment and everything you need to know in order to get the build right. Now this is going to be my first entry into a new little mini-series in which I'm trying to look deeper into something I did already, and that is hybrid builds. Now what are hybrid builds? Well, in this game usually what you want to do is you want to specialize. You want to really dig into one weapon class and make your character efficient with it. So the simple fact that your investment in damage perks in this game is so high means that it's not a good idea to invest into multiple weapons. Like, for example, in older games of the franchise, now we're talking Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, what you wanted to do was... Alright, that's a bit stupid. We're not going to do one violent night. We're just going to clear out the ghouls as always. I didn't really see that one violent night was active here. Back to the topic. Yeah, I was just talking about how in older games you had skills and then you had perks, and what skills did was they were giving you a bit of a wider investment. Like, for example, this character here is pretty much a small arms, small guns character. Under small guns you could find anything from shotguns to pistols to rifles, and they covered quite a variety of weapons. And after that you did have perks which were exclusive to certain weapon types. For example, you had End Stay Back, which was affecting only shotguns, and so on. So what I wanted to do with this character here is I really wanted to make a small guns character. The reason being is that while there's, as I said, no good reason to do it in terms of effectiveness, I still get that a lot of players come from older games and still prefer the way it was back then, because it simply gives you a bit more variety in gameplay. Now, if you are a gamer that's heavily invested into Fallout 76, you might not see a big problem here, because yeah, you can just do multiple characters, you make one shotgunner, you make one sniper character, and so on. You get the point. However, I still feel like a good chunk of people just want to play this game with one character, play through, and maybe revisit it every now and then. And on that occasion you may just not want to specialize into one certain thing. After all, you're losing out on quite a lot of things you can't really utilize. For example, if there are new weapons added, you may as well see, like, okay, let's say they added the gauze weapons, and you are a Commando character. You don't really have any chance to make use of them because they are either a heavy weapon or they are guns. So yeah, there's not a lot you can do. And what I wanted to do with this character is here, I just wanted to make a more varied character. Now, you can cover all of the weapons, that's simply not possible, but quite frankly, with the added benefits from legendary perks, you can get away with quite a lot. Now, one thing that should be very certain is that you're still not going to be as effective as if you are min-maxed. Like, that's just a given, and that probably will never change in this game. Like, min-maxing is the way to go. It's the most efficient way to play the game, especially if you want to be invested into endgame content like killing Scorch Beast Queens and such. But for day-to-day combat, exploring the world and just roaming around, doing quests and such, you can be perfectly versatile with multiple weapons. Now, on this occasion, you'll probably saw already from the weapons I used, we are specialized into a variety of weapons, and those are Commando weapons, Guerilla weapons, and shotguns. What I want to do in this mini-series is, for basically every character I will use one specific mechanic in the game, which is just powerful and then use this in order to give us the ability to use multiple weapons efficiently. On this occasion we are using stealth. Stealth was always a big staple of the Fallout franchise and pretty much all the Bethesda games. It was also very powerful in Elder Scrolls. So you can say that stealth has its place, and that's not different in Fallout 76. Stealth is very powerful. You can get a lot of benefits with stealth, but usually what people do is they just mix stealth with, for example, VATS, which would be another mechanic I'm going to use in another video. So you can definitely get way more out of it. By the way, I'm just looking for the Scorched Beast here, but I can't really find it. Let's see if it's here. So yeah, combining multiple of these mechanics that are powerful is the way to go. That's how you get the most damage. That's how you get really efficient. And by the way, you saw my terrible aim here. So okay, there it is. Even a legendary, but a 1-star. And what we're using here is stealth. Now, one thing that makes stealth very powerful nowadays is the follow through perk. It's just very powerful. Not a lot to say. We're using free aim, by the way, as you saw. I mean, we can use VATS here and there. Mainly with the shotgun, it's beneficial to just aim for the torso and have your safe shot. However, we can completely use this with free aim. As I said earlier, you would do better if you combined it with VATS. However, that's something I want to do in another video, so yeah. As you can see here, in terms of damage, we're not having a big problem. Now that the Scorched Piece is on the ground, we should mailed it pretty easily. Okay. By the way, the fact that I'm using free aim for his build makes me look a bit embarrassed, because yeah, you probably know this if you watched another of my videos. I'm not good at free aim, as you can see here. It's actually amazing how often I miss. But yeah, overall, you can guess if I would have to hit more times, then yeah, obviously we could get more damage. Also headshots would help, but I'm not aiming too high here. So, well, something that I think never happened in one of my videos. I'm over encumbered. Well, anyways, back to the topic. We are using stealth. The follow through perk is probably the most beneficial thing we can have for our character, but other than that, we do have some perks that synergize very well with that. And we get a bigger sneak multiplier, meaning that we're doing in general more damage from stealth. And another thing we're using is all of our weapons are furious. To be more precise, we do have 2 furious explosive weapons and 1 furious faster fire rate. The furious faster fire rate is the one I'm currently using. It's a 10mm auto pistol. And then we do have a furious explosive handmade, as well as a furious explosive shotgun. Now, the combination of furious and explosive is a bit, well, it's controversial, let's say it like that, because the problem is it can really, the explosive effect can mess with your furious effect. So for those of you who don't know, furious makes it so that every follow-up shot, so if you hit an enemy more than once, you're doing more damage. What the explosive effect can do, or how it can mess up your effect, is you could hit an enemy and at the same time hit another enemy. That would reset your furious effect. However, I've never found this to be a big problem, because most of the times, yeah, enemies are quite a bit ahead of each other, so you don't often hit enemies like with your explosive effect. On this occasion you saw it happen, but it's definitely manageable, and especially with a stealth character where you're not really gathering enemies, so to speak, because you're picking off one enemy at a time, and usually they don't group together. Now, it can happen with ghouls, for example, but most of the times those enemies that really group up heavily, those are the ones that are weaker in general, so therefore there isn't all that big of a problem. As you can see here, we're picking one at a time, and our Furious effect works very well. And the plus side to Furious Explosive, which is the reason why I like it, is that it actually can help you gather your effects from Furious faster. Now, for those of you who don't know, you get 5% extra damage per stack. So every time you hit an enemy, you get another 5%. And the maximum is either 45% or 50. I'm inclined to believe that it's 45%. But anyways, with the explosive effect, you're technically hitting your enemy 2 times, and therefore you gain twice the benefit. So other than using 9 or 10 shots in order to gain the full potential of this effect, you gain it with like 4 to 5 shots. And the same is true for the shotgun, and on this occasion it's even more powerful, because what the shotgun has is similar to how it synergizes with certain legendary effects. It has a benefit that every single pellet counts as a single hit. So pretty much what that means is that on the second shot you get the full benefit of your Furious effect. Now, this couples very well with the follow through perk, which gives us another 40% extra damage. So that means that our second shot with our shotgun deals like, I'd say, double the amount. It's hard to say, but you'll see that it's way more effective than your first shot. Also, shotguns can be suppressed, not all of them, the double barrel can't, but the pump action and the combat shotgun, they can be suppressed. The best pick here would definitely be the combat shotgun. It's, in my opinion, the best shotgun. However, the pump action was the one I had, so that's what I went for here. Now we're going to fast travel to Huntersville in order to take down some super mutants, but in the meantime we can talk a little bit more about why hybrid characters are so hated in this game. The reason is that, yeah, you're not gaining any benefit. Now, the reason why a lot of people, in my opinion, come up with a hybrid build is when they play the game. And one thing you gotta keep in mind is most people playing such a game, they aren't active on Reddit forums or Facebook groups, Discords, and so on. So the majority of people, I think, still just opens up a game, plays a little, and that's it. Now, what will happen is that sooner or later you will run out of ammo. It's a problem that every low-level player knows. It's something that's just inclined to happen sooner rather than later, and it's not a stupid thing to believe that, yeah, spreading your skills a little would help with that, because what you find is you have yeah, we're having a problem now. We are over in combat, but that shouldn't be a problem. So, well, we just see. Yeah, it's not stupid to believe that, well, if I'm running out of 10mm all the time, but I have all this shotgun ammo I'm not using, why not use both a shotgun and a 10mm? The thing is that due to the way that you can craft ammo, you gotta craft ammo anyway. So if you are more effective with one weapon type, in the long term that's gonna be more efficient than just living from things you can gather up. And yeah, that's, in my opinion, the problem where people start to spread their skills and afterwards realize that they are just a jack of all trades but a master of none. So the addition of legendary perks really helped with that, because mainly because you have access to more special points. So you can really spread your special investment without suffering from others. Now what we do here is we have a fairly high investment into special stats. Like, we do have follow through obviously, but that's about every legendary perk we need in terms of damage, and the rest is basically just used for special points. That also means that you need a high level character to do these things, but overall you can work your way towards it. And for example, what you could do is just use 2 of the 3 weapons I'm using here when you are lower level, and over time just go and invest into more. But that's up to you how you want to do it. I just wanted to do 3 different weapons for the simple reason that I wanted to cover this, as I said earlier, the small guns skill basically. The next one I'm going to do will be energy weapons, which, as you know, was a skill in earlier games. So energy weapons weren't divided into pistols, rifles, heavy weapons and so on, but rather they were their own little category, which is something I kind of miss actually, because I always felt that they were quite different from other weapons. Now, one thing that's good for is you don't have to live half your game. Alright, you know what? We do have a bigger stash now, so we might as well use that, other than walking around over in combat all the time. That's better. Yes, the problem was that you basically spent the first half of your playthrough not having any reason to invest into energy weapons, and then afterwards they were there all of a sudden and you had to invest in them. But overall I think it's nice to have energy weapons as the same class. But anyways, we're going to talk more about that once the build comes up. Let's get back to this build here. Another thing that this build has is we have a jetpack, which is really a game changer. It's, in my opinion, far from necessary. I really took my time before I decided to grind for it, because, yeah, as I said, it's not really necessary. There's never a situation where you think, oh no, I can't do this or that, but because I don't have a jetpack. But the versatility that a jetpack offers is just very nice. By the way, it's a bit dark. I hope you will still be able to see something in the video, but that's it. Yeah, the versatility from a jetpack is nice. If you time it right, you can jump from higher places without getting hurt all that much. You can reach rooftops easier, and overall it's just a nice thing to have, especially for a sniper. For example, if we're here, we can just get up the cliff in order to get a high ground. But yeah, nothing you couldn't do with just a marsupial mutation. You get the point. It just makes life a bit easier, and also it works really well in my opinion with the outfit and the backpack. So we're gliding to the floor now. As you saw here, I actually managed to hit the right timing in order to cushion our fall, and we didn't take any damage. It wouldn't matter unless we're killing ourselves, by the way, because we're healing it off with a mutation. But anyways, nice to have it either way. Okay, this was a level 50 and a level 60, but I'm pretty sure that we are able to two-shot a level 100 super mutant as well, which is nice. We do have a relatively low reload speed. However, due to the way that we're using stealth, it's, well, you just don't need more, because time is not as big of a factor as it is, or maybe on other characters, because you're not getting shot, you can take your time. Alright, this was a bit bad because we were detected. However, the Furious effect was still enough in order to cover us. Now, just to give you a bit more to see here, we're going to clear the front entrance, the main entrance here, but then we're going to call the gameplay and move on to our equipment and so on. As you see here, I am often using VETs with the shotgun because I do like it. However, you can be perfectly fine using free aim here as well. Actually, I quite enjoyed using free aim on rifles and such weapons for once, because yeah, after a certain time in this game you just realize that you want to use VETs, there's no good reason not to, and therefore yeah, you really forget the feeling of how nice it can feel to actually manually aim. And overall, I'm not really missing the extra damage from VETs. Now, one situation where it would definitely help us a lot would definitely be Scorched Beast fights or something, but after all, I'm generally a person that doesn't want to kill the Scorched Beast Queen solo. It's a lot of investment which doesn't pay off in my opinion. I'm rather launching nukes on a public server, and yeah, you can easily get enough damage in order to get the loot, and basically that's everything that matters. You can definitely participate in the event in a meaningful way. You are not carried by others. You can definitely help out here. Not sure why this turret detected us so easily, but yeah, anyways. I think we're done here. As you saw, we could use every weapon very sufficiently, and one thing that will be clear once we take a look at the perks is that yeah, our main weapon will be the handmade. It's just powerful enough in order to keep up with enemies like the Scorch Beast and such, but here we go. We do have 5 strength, 3 of which we use for the first rank of the shotgunner perks, just to give us a little edge. It's not the world, but it's definitely a significant boost that we can notice when we're firing the weapon. And the 2 remaining perk points we use for Bandolier. Now, Bandolier, we do use ballistic ammo all over the place. Now, every weapon that we use uses ballistic ammo. Obviously, if you want to use energy weapons, you can use the exact same build. You just have to make room for a little bit of maybe how's it called, batteries included. But other than that, you can obviously use energy weapons. The problem will be that they don't really work well with sneak most of the time. The only noticeable difference would probably be the Gauss pistol and the Gauss rifle. However, you would have to use Rifleman instead of Commando and Gunslinger instead of Guerilla. But that's about the difference. On to Perception, one of the skill trees we completely maxed out. I said skill trees, but you know what I mean, special perks. So we do have Master Commando, Ground Pounder, Tank Killer, Commando and Expert Commando. Now all of the Commando perks are maxed out. Not that we need Perception at 15 anyways, but yeah, we just wanted to have one weapon class we really are good at in order to use it for high level enemies, and that is the handmade on this occasion. You could also use Rifleman here and go for something like a sniper rifle. Would definitely mix up your playstyle a little bit more. I used it a little while with a how's it called, with a lever action rifle. However, I had these 3 furious weapons and I thought I want to stick with one theme, if that makes sense. Anyways, Tank Killer, very good perk here because it also improves the armor penetration of our 10mm pistol. And well, the rest is just for our handmade here. On to Endurance, we do have rank 2 of Life Giver and rank 3 of Fireproof. We're definitely on the low end of Endurance. We are a stealth character. We're trying to avoid hits overall, so we don't really invest into tankiness. And the only thing we do have here that's really invested in is Fireproof, for the simple reason that we don't want to get blown up by some random car that explodes next to us, or a super mutant suicider, for example. So Fireproof is always a nice investment. And the other 2 points I went into Life Giver for just a little bit more health, but yeah, you can use whatever you like here. If you feel like it, you can use Cola Nut. You could use 2 ranks of Adamantium Skeleton, or maybe go with 2 ranks of Fireproof and 3 ranks of Adamantium Skeleton. However, Endurance is definitely one of our dump stats here. Onto Charisma, very low 2. Now usually I always try to use Lone Wanderer, you know me, but for the same reason as we do have low Endurance, we don't need Lone Wanderer or anything here, because yeah, we're not trying to get more tanky, it's just not necessary if we're doing it right. And we rather want to go for extra damage, and since pretty much all of our weapons rely on follow-up shots anyways, we do have follow through as a legendary perk. Tenderizer synergizes very well with that, so we're getting more damage with the second shot. And yeah, also we don't need the AP refresh from Lone Wanderer, because for once we do have a character that doesn't rely on VATS, and overall there's not a lot we use our agility for. Obviously, if you're getting detected, you could make an argument that running away you need a bit more of your AP, but it's not a problem in my opinion. I never really felt like I needed more AP. Onto Intelligence, we're at a fairly middle ground with 10 here, and we do have Gunsmith and Demolitions Expert. Now Gunsmith, obviously we want to have access to high level mods, but most importantly we just want to have our weapons going for a little while. It's less of a problem than on most characters, simply because we do have 3 different weapons, which is kind of nice because yeah, if your weapon breaks you can just use another one. You do have 3 different weapons that you're going for, so overall you can just leave maintenance on the side for a while if your one of your weapons breaks. Anyways, Demolition's Expert. Well, we do have 2 explosive weapons. I could have gone for a Furious Explosive 10mm pistol also. The reason why I didn't want to do that is I like to have one option that's not explosive for if I am clearing out buildings, for example, and I want to loot a lot. So for example, if I'm looking for magazines or certain loot, the explosive effect can throw these things around and make it hard to loot. And therefore, for example, if I run the White Spring course, I often use the 10mm pistol simply because it's not explosive, it doesn't mess with all the things lying around, so that's it. But other than that, our other 2 weapons, the explosive shotgun and the handmade, both benefit from the explosive perk, and mainly the shotgun sees a lot of damage from explosive perk, and you definitely don't want to miss it. Onto agility. This is probably our most important stat. Simply because agility is your sneak is a function of agility, so the more agility you do have, the more sneaky you get, and that's definitely something you want to have maxed out. There's no good reason not to have it. Arguably, you really want to over time max it out with legendary perks as well, so you have a 20 agility base just to get more sneaky, but yeah. At least the 15 agility should be there. We further boost that with mutations, but we're going to see that soon. We do have rank 2 of Action Boy. It's pretty much a filler. We could also use rank 2 of Adrenaline. Would be nice, however, a little bit AP refresh doesn't hurt. We don't have a single piece of armor, I think, with the powered effect, and we also don't have any other perks that boost our AP refresh, so we really have a low action point refreshment, and rank 2 of Action Boy doesn't hurt here. The more important thing here is Covert Operative, Guerilla, Sneak, and Escape Artist. Sneak and Escape Artist pretty self-explanatory. We are a stealth character. Those 2 perks are mandatory for pretty much every stealth character. You can definitely get your agility high enough and use the right equipment in order to get stealthy, so you don't need Sneak. However, it's never a bad idea. Guerilla, we do have 2 points, 2 ranks here. The more beneficial option would have been to go for rank 2 of each Expert, Guerilla, and Master Guerilla. It's something I want to do over time, but as of late, we don't have that. We do have those 2 at rank 3, but keep in mind, you could get 10 more damage, I think. I didn't do the math right now, it's just an assumption, but yeah, around 10 more damage by using rank 2 of each of the Guerilla cards rather than rank 3 of 2 of them. And Covered Operative, well, pretty simple here. We do have a better sneak multiplier. It's additive as anything else nowadays, but still 2.5 times the base damage is more noticeable than 2 times the base damage. Another thing you could use here for instead of Action Boy is the I'm not sure how it's called, the one that gives you extra sneak attack multipliers when you are when your weapons are suppressed at night, but I don't really like it. It's too situational for me, so I went for Action Boy here. And onto luck. We still are fairly high in terms of luck, even though we're not using VATs pretty much never, but we do have Bloody Mess here, Tormentor, Class Freak, and Starch Jeans. Now, Starch Jeans is obvious here. Class Freak, the reason I ran it is for the simple reason that we do have quite a lot of debuffs to our strength, and we do actually have quite low carry weight, and we do carry quite an amount of weight in terms of weapons, so therefore Class Freak really helped me out here, and it never hurts, and we don't need anything else here, so I went for it. Tormentor, simple reason here, it gives us extra crippling chance with our rifles, which we use with our handmade. Now that makes, for example, Scorch Beast easier to manipulate, shoot at their wings get crippled and they have to land. Now an option here would have been to use the 2 ranks we use for Action Boy and Agility with Enforcer, and use your shotguns to cripple something. Would have been even more efficient probably, but yeah, we did have the points and luck anyway, so we used them here rather than missing out on Action Boy. That was the reasoning. And Bloody Mess, well, especially on a character that doesn't really fully invest into all of his weapons, Bloody Mess can be a nice all-rounder. So it's not the best perk in the world, but after all, it's not bad either. And that's about it in terms of normal perks. And let's get into the legendary perks here. We do have Ammo Factory, which I wouldn't recommend if you use or want to make this character a secondary character or anything. However, this is my main character and I use it for basically crafting ammo for all of my other builds. So therefore I have to run with Ammo Factory here. It's just something that's very beneficial. If you don't want to use it in order to get something else. Mostly looking into perk investments here. Strength, endurance, you get the thrill. Now this here is important, follow through. 40% extra damage for 10 seconds after attacking an enemy from stealth, that's immense. And it's still multiplicative because it's a debuff to your enemy rather than a buff to your weapon, meaning that this perk alone is probably as effective as all of the other damage perks we have combined. So yeah, you definitely want to focus on that first. Endurance, we are even lower than the 5 we saw earlier. Actually we are at rank 3, but we use 2 ranks of legendary endurance to boost it up. Intelligence, basically our complete demolitions expert perk comes from maxed out legendary intelligence. Legendary strength, only 1 point here. We could use another 3 points here in order to make our shotguns way more efficient over time. If you max out strength, you could use rank 2 of each shotgunner perk, which would definitely help. It's a goal for a longer time. And legendary agility at rank 1, we have a base agility of 15, so that doesn't do anything other than boosting our stealth a little bit. So you could say that it's not necessary and rather prioritize those perk points for something else. But I felt like agility was the way to go here. Now last but not least, we're going to take a look into our mutations and then our equipment. In terms of our mutations, we do have Adrenal Reaction, Bird Bones, Eagle Eyes, Egghead, Healing Factor, Marsupial and Speed Demon. Now the necessary parts here are Adrenal Reaction, Egghead, Healing Factor, Marsupial and Speed Demon, and Bird Bones. Eagle Eyes I wouldn't recommend because we're not using it, we don't use crits and we don't use vets, so this is basically dead weight. However, it's something I often use on this character because if I switch it up I often come up with vets heavy characters, so I didn't want to bother to to get away with it because the perception doesn't really make a difference for us here, and after all with Class Freak we look at -1 strength, so that would have been the whole difference if I didn't use Eagle Eyes here. Adrenal Reaction is always nice to have. I said it earlier, we're not trying to be all that tanky, we're trying to avoid hits overall, so if we get damaged we gain a little bit extra damage from our Adrenal Reaction perk here, or if you get irradiated. However, the -50 HP doesn't really hurt us all that much because it's anyways something we suffer from already, if that makes sense. Bird Bones, pretty simple here. The extra agility helps with stealth. I said it earlier, we try to boost our agility further with mutations. However, for once the reduced fall speed is very beneficial because with our jetpack it could definitely happen that without Bird Bones you kill yourself quite easily. But yeah, that's about it. Egghead, yeah, we want to have more intelligence. It also makes it so that we have quite high intelligence in order to level up fairly good. Now we're not a level up character, but let's just take a look at it. Yeah, we do have 16 intelligence, which is kind of high. It's good, so you get a constant flow of XP going, which really helps, especially if you want to have a high level character. Healing Factor, now we don't use chems anyways, so the only thing that's affected here are our stim packs, which we don't really need all that much. Therefore the health regen is just nice, because if you take fall damage you usually don't take enough to die, so if you're not in a combat situation that doesn't matter at all because it gets immediately healed. And overall, when you're doing stealth, you always get some random shots here and there because enemies are panic firing, they're shooting in all directions, and you get some stray shots in here and there, which aren't really how to say, they aren't really dangerous to you during normal gameplay because they're not going to be enough to kill you, and enemies just, they don't know where you are, they're just shooting randomly, so you don't have to bother using a stimpack during the fight. You just do your thing, you kill the enemies, and you maybe you get some adrenal reaction during the fight, and oftentimes you do end your fight with like half your health or anything, and that gets immediately healed. So in my opinion, it synergizes quite well with adrenal reaction. However, healing factor is a bit hit or miss. You don't need it. A lot of people don't like it, so it's your choice to use it or not. Marsupial, always a nice thing to have. I pretty much have no character that doesn't have marsupial, and same for speed demon. Faster reload speed, faster movement speed, and bigger jumps are just universally good. Also, a bit more carry weight is never a bad thing, and the -1 intelligence that is left with all the class freak investment is barely noticeable, because with Egghead we do get +6 intelligence, so overall we're still gaining 5 intelligence from our mutations. So that's that. And now we're taking a look at our weaponry. This here is the Furious Explosive Pump Action Shotgun I was using in the video. It's suppressed. The Furious Faster Fire Rate 10mm pistol. As you see here, I went for stabilized and aligned, which is a kind of a mix between getting better hipfire accuracy and better recoil. But yeah, you can go for whatever you like here. There's nothing you desperately need. Another thing here, the Furious Explosive Handmade. Nice thing I just got from a random drop. I do have the Scabba skin here. I do have true long barrel and precise grip, which they are all meant to increase my hipfire accuracy while also increasing my my condition bar. Yeah, the condition goes down relatively quick, but the problem is that I looted this character with a character that had very low luck, and therefore, yeah, the condition bar is kinda bad, so I had to do a bit of investment in order to keep this thing going, but it's quite nice. I went for glow sights. You could obviously go for a reflex sight or whatever you like here. I just felt it's kind of nice. I don't know what it is, but I do like to use especially the handmade with just the glow sights. It feels quite cool in my opinion. Anyways, that was it in terms of weapons, and now last but not least, this will be the last definitely, we do take a look at our armor. We do have 4 chameleon pieces. They're all marine. Different random other effects, mostly boosts to our special, but nothing really noteworthy here. And our chest piece is a Exterminator, Sentinel, Agility, Secret Service chest piece, which obviously I would like to have another chameleon piece here, but I wasn't lucky. I crafted like 5 of them or something, and I felt like this was a good pick here because it had extra agility, and yeah, -15 damage from my alerts and bugs doesn't hurt. We're stealthy enough. Obviously over time I want to have this ultralight or something, or shadowed, and want to have a chameleon version, but for now that's what we have here. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the build, and I hope you understand why I went for it. I mean, as I said, I do completely know why hybrid builds aren't a good idea. They never are, but you can get away with them, and if you really want to just use multiple weapons, you can do it, especially once you have access to the legendary perks. I hope you enjoyed it. I think the next video I'm going to make will not be one of this mini-series, but overall, within a week I think I will have 2 to 3 videos for this mini-series up, and yeah, next one will probably be either big guns or energy guns. Anyways, that was it guys. Hope you see you soon in another video. Bye.